The age that I first called myself a singer was age 4. And I remember watching Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5 on some like vintage footage. And I was like, how old is he? And my mum said, 5. And I was like, oh no, I think I've only got like a year. Then I found out that, you know, not everyone starts at 5, but for a moment, it was serious. I'm Yola, and this is On the Rise. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with the song Push It, but my mum wouldn't let me buy it because it was dirty, but she didn't know who I was at the time. Like, I was like, nah, it still resonates with me now. So I was right, you were wrong. Shut up, as Eugene Yang says. And I don't really remember like a first celebrity crush so much because I grew up in a little village in England, and like, it was like everything was like nothing to do with me. It was like, hi, this isn't you. Hi, this isn't you either. I felt really like outside of just the purview of being included. But nowadays, I remember flicking on Insecure and being like, half that cast can get it, okay? I was like, Kendrick, FYI, find me. Like, JS, find me. Alexander, find me. Anyone from Insecure, follow me on Insta. Elvis is my debut movie. I know, what a way to debut. And my audition was my publicist, Doug, with a phone in his kitchen. And he was filming me, and I was just singing a song that I sing in the shower, Didn't It Rain, which is Sister Rosetta Tharpe's version. I was auditioning for the soundtrack, and I was like, maybe I get a role in the movie. I don't know. I went into the RCA Studio A in Nashville with Dave Cobb, and we were tracking, and Baz was there, and Austin was there, and all the band, and I was getting into this kind of acting, singing mentality. Baz's nose was right up against the glass of the vocal booth, and he was looking at me going, I think we found our Sister Rosetta. I was just with him the other day, and he was like, oh no, I knew. That was when I knew. It felt this most amazing privilege and duty to portray Sister Rosetta Tharpe. It felt like I have this rare opportunity to bring her name and her legacy into a whole new generation of people. I get to make young black girls feel like they have a right to reach for the guitar. And no one can tell them that that ain't a thing that a black girl does, like they did me. And of course, give Elvis's story context as well. So people go, okay, he's an icon, like where'd he get it from? And Black America is the answer. And I get to show Sister Rosetta Tharpe as the elder and the inventor of rock and roll, which is what she was, but because of segregation, didn't get the credit. That means a lot to me personally, as well as like how much I feel I owe to Black America as a person. I have an absolute mountain of respect for Baz for doing it this way, which has put Elvis's story in the context of Black America, him growing up on the black side of the segregation line, and what that means for his arc. To be a director, a writer, a filmmaker, someone who goes, I see an injustice and I really want to rectify that. I just don't see that enough, babes, you know? I don't see it enough. And then he cast me in the role that I would always want to play if there was ever a debut role on planet Earth. So thanks for that. And also, Austin sang his off. If you didn't know that he was singing, he sang his clean off. Austin, get it. Like, the whole cast killed the game, but like, yes. This is my first acting role, and I would love to do more acting. In all realism, like, I know that cinema and television do us dirty all the time. By us, I mean plus size, dark-skinned black women. Like, we get done dirty on the regs. Like, it's ridiculous. They're like, okay, you get to be like comedic relief. Like, no one's gonna take you seriously as like this gorgeous love interest. You're gonna have to just be like this clown on the side. Or Slave Movie 5001. Who the f wants that? But still, like, you know, there's so many duff roles for people that look like me. So I'd love to as long as it's something that is not toxic for people that look like me. Something really positive for the culture and for my particular demographic. I had a lot of role models and inspirations growing up. I think Tina played a really big part in my understanding of my voice. Tina Turner has this rasp, and she's this really heavy crying tilt. And that kind of sobbing tone, and that when she gets to the top of her body, how her voice breaks up, that's what my voice does. There were some people in the 90s that had that kind of voice, your Mary J's, like you get that energy from like Brownstone to a degree and En Vogue. They came with like the big voices. I was like, yes! Like they gave me this wonderful context to like understand the textural range of my voice. To be able to like use your voice like an instrument, that's something that I find really like powerful. And when in the process of like making a record and production, stuff like that, that's something that's really like essential to my mode of expression. If I wasn't being an artist out in these streets, I would probably be a lecturer again. I used to deal with vocal biomechanics. I was a coach. When I had students, I'd take them on and like I'd document their experience and I'd try and get like an arc of like biologically what was affecting them, how their psychology would affect their biology, how the environment would affect their psychology and their biology. I wrote a course and then I lectured it. And so maybe at some point I might do that when I'm older anyway. It'll probably be called YQ because my real full name's Yolanda Cortes. So it'll be the Y, but YQ. I feel like one of just the most tearful moments. I was on tour in Germany and I got news that I've been nominated for a Grammy and it was Best New Artist. I just burst out in floods of tears. I was like, oh my God, this is like insane. I almost didn't quite know what it was. And then I heard who else was in the category and I was like, well, the great thing is that I could really relax because we've got Lizzo, Billie Eilish, and Lil Nas X amongst many others that have already had a bunch of #1s, and I've literally I don't even live in this country at that point. I don't even have a base in this country. It was just so unreal because, you know, I've been homeless and I've been poor a lot of my life. Like, you know, I don't really come from much, you know, so that was just everything. Then another 3 come in. I'm like, what? What's happening? How? And then obviously this year we got another 2. I got to go into my Instagram and change 4-time Grammy nominee to 6-time Grammy nominee. That felt good. I'm really excited to have this platform, especially in the context of the Elvis movie, because one of my profound missions in music has kind of touched on the movie, and it's this idea of like how genres relate to each other. I identify as genre fluid musically. People always want to kind of put you into these boxes, and I think one of the most gratifying and like satisfying things you can do is be the master of your own destiny. And so that's kind of why I coined that term. FYI, if you hear anyone else using it, it was me, sunshine, okay? Don't give that credit to some old white guy, it's me, okay? I want 100% to have the freedom to combine everything that I love in music. I want all of this stuff to coalesce and to find the connective tissue between this music. That's the privilege of like this platform, is espousing the virtues of defining yourself, especially for artists of color. In 5 years, I see myself living here in New York. I'm not telling you where, so you can't come and find me, all right? But I've bought a plot of land somewhere. I'm building a house. I've got a lot of spare land, and some of the squad are chucking up houses around. Bit of a Brandy Carlisle situation. Brandy, love, you right, babes? I'm stealing your idea of the compound. It's like the compound, this time, more melanated. And like, that's what we're doing.